All right, today's episode on Tequila Forever Tequila. Gonna be talking about additives. Additives in your tequila. Are they good, bad? Does it matter? There's some of the questions that people have, and when they hear the word additives, they tend to think chemicals, artificial flavors, and it's quite alarming. It's definitely a rude awakening when you're drinking tequila and then you're learning that some tequilas contain additives. People begin to wonder, what tequilas contain additives? How do I know which ones have it, which ones don't? What are additives and, what are they used for? But I got a simple answer for all those questions. You ready? Additives are used for making money. So there you have it. Good night. Hope you enjoyed the video.
That's not whatever.
That's okay. All right, let's do this.
You're still on.
Oh shit. Sorry about that. I was actually about to do a blind taste. I got a tequila with additives and a tequila without. And I'll do that in a minute with you guys. Before that, let's go ahead and talk about additives, right? What is the definition of additives? Additives is something that is added as a substance to another to alter or improve the general quality or to counteract undesirable properties. So basically, additives is a substance that's added to improve the flavor, right? To alter the flavor, to make it taste better, the use of additives in tequila is actually, permitted under the rules of norma. It's a governing, tequila production. Basically, a tequila producer, they don't need to disclose the use of additives, as long as they don't exceed 1% of the total volume, and all that is because this is permitted. Now, one thing that I was reading, and from my understanding, is that blancos nowadays might be on the safe side. Meaning, well, as of 2013, on February of 2013, the normal official Mexicana banned the use of additives in blanco tequilas. But I'm still a little curious about that because, there are some tequilas that I have tasted out there. There's like that, I think, 818, and some other crap out there, that even their blancos taste a little, artificial, kind of, So I wonder if they kind of get away with doing some of these things or if not, but something a little bit like cake batter. Supposedly, they're not, they're not supposed to, but I don't know, That's the thing, it's really hard to say, but apparently as of 2013, it's been banned, so should be safe to consume blancos and assume that they don't have, additives in them. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some of the additives that are used in tequila, right? So one of the additives that are used in tequila is like sugar-based syrup or jarabe, I think, if I'm saying that correctly. And the purpose of sugar-based syrup is to make something sweeter. That can be anything from like Splendas, herbs, stevia, like honey, corn syrup, things like that they can add to it to make it sweeter, to make it taste better. Just a second. And you know, when it comes to that, it's you know, it's difficult to really say if it's bad, how bad it is. You know, some people say that additives are bad. Other people say that they're not bad for you, meaning it's safe for human consumption. Now, the thing is, you know, when it comes to, you know, the first additive that we're talking about, right? Like, you know, Java or sugar-based, it is altering, you know, the product, the tequila, right? From what it tastes like. And the question is, I mean, how do you guys really feel about that, right? I mean, do you guys think it's wrong? Right. Say they use just natural sugar, you know. Tequila didn't come out as sweet or didn't really come out like the way they wanted to, and they added a little bit of sugar. Do you guys see anything wrong with that? You know, it's kind of like if you're making agua fresca, you know, watermelon or something, and it's not that sweet. You add a little bit of sugar, right? It's been, you know, has water and, you know, just the watermelon, and, you know, say it's all blended or juiced up, and you add a little bit of sugar to make it taste better. You're not using Splenda. You're not using anything artificial. Would that be bad? Now, I would understand if they would be using some Splenda, then it would completely change the flavor. So it can be very controversial because, you know, some people will be like, well, I don't see anything wrong with that. Other people may say yes. It's up really to you guys to decide, right? At the end, I'll give my personal thoughts and opinion, or maybe even during the video about what I think about that. But that's basically some of the ones they are using, right? Now, the other one is going to be glycerin, right? So glycerin is a natural, you know, byproduct of fermentation and distillation. This makes the tequila feel thicker, more rounded. So like if you had a tequila that was really thin, watery, and you use it, it can make you feel like it's thicker. It can have more of a mouthfeel to it. Honestly, I'm gonna give my opinion. I don't think that's right at all. I'm looking at it like, man, the way it comes out.
So is that the same for the sugar?
The way that it should be, right? Like it's kind of like, you know, you're adding something to it to make it feel better in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? If the tequila is good, you shouldn't have to worry about that. At least in my personal opinion, right? Like I've tasted tequilas that are like watery, that are thin, but they are absolutely delicious. You know, I prefer tequila that's maybe a little bit more silky, creamy, thicker, but if that's the way it comes out, you know, so I totally agree. I totally disagree with that, right? I don't think that's something that should be used. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but let's move on. Oak extract. That is another one that's being used. You know, oak extract can make a tequila taste like it's been aged longer. It can give it aromas and flavors. Now, the only thing about that I would look into it, I mean, excuse me, that I would see this. Look, I don't think it's cool at all because, you know, it's like cheating the system, right? While there's other, you know, master distillers out there, the distilleries that are taking the time to age their product, they're basically just cutting corners, you know? And I'm guessing that the way they're probably be doing it, if they have a tequila that's aged for like a year, and then they have a few barrels that are like 18 months, they could say, oh, it's aged from like a year to 18 months, and they can just be like, add on a little bit of flavor to it, make it taste like it's actually been aged longer. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just blending those two, but they really just had a few barrels just so they can put on there that's been aged longer. I don't see how that really works. Like unless they're using new barrels. I mean, you know, the way I look at it is that when you have a used barrel, right, whether it be like a Jack Daniels, a Widow Jane, whatever, you know, whether it be wine or whatever, The fact that it's been used in the previous product that it had before, it's going to give it distinctive aromas and flavors, you know. And I don't know when it comes to that concentrated stuff, if it's just going to be like one-sided, you know, just taste all new, or if they do it with different type of wood, or even with some used ones that they just extracted whatever was left. I mean, I don't know. You know, what I do know is that
some people on Tequila Matchmaker have experimented.
Added just a few drops of that, and into a couple of ounces or other products, right? And it completely changed the flavor, completely added some like barrel complexity to it. And I don't think that's right at all. You know what I'm saying? And some people may not care. Some people may be like, "What the fucking cares?" If it's not bad, it's just basically making it taste like it's been aged a little bit longer. I mean, so again, it's really up to you guys to how you feel about that. Everybody's gonna have their own thoughts and opinions about what's right, what's wrong, what's okay, doesn't matter, whatever. Another additive that is used is caramel coloring. So, that, come on, the fuck is that? It's really added, why? To get it more consistent in color, maybe even manipulate the mind. I mean, I know there's people out there that think sometimes when a product doesn't look the same, that it's not the same product. I've seen some like fortalezas that, their reposado is like pale yellow. Others where they were like dark amber, even looking like an añejo. And that's the thing with añejo, I've seen them a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with the other brands, right? That are, artisanal. It comes out the way it comes out. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way it is. That's the way they do it, And then you have some other products like, I think it's out of the Vivancuna number 1414, the Nada Tequila. I did a review on the Reposado. Now, what they do to get a consistency in color, they add some of the añejo into the Reposado and to get that color right. So not only does that add, flavor and complexity, right? You get more of the barrel notes and everything with flavor. It's still, because it's the lower expression was the Reposado, it stays as a Reposado, but now you have some added flavors, complexity to it. And now you have that consistency in color. So there are ways to do it that are natural. And, one thing I'm gonna say, why would people use, or the studies use additives? Like I said, it's all about money. They don't give a fuck about you, about me, or anybody. All they care about is the green, mula, feria, plata, whatever the fuck you want to call it. If I knew other languages, I would say I'm in other languages, right?
Dinero, puto.
It's a fucking business. You know what I'm saying? And that's not for every distillery out there that uses additives also, because I can understand that some people invest a lot of their money, a lot of their time, and if the product doesn't come out the way they wanted it to come out, and they try to fix it. I mean, I can understand. I mean, I'm not saying or justifying that it's right, but I can understand in their business, way of thinking, why they would do that. But when you have these big, large, fucking corporations, you know what I'm saying? Like the Jose Cuervos, the Nadi, well, I think it's all made about the same shit, you know what I mean? But what is it? Diageo, you know what I mean? With all the products that they own, they're not traditional. You know what I'm saying? It's just pushing it out. The product has changed from the past to what it is now. You know what I mean? Look at even Cazadores. Cazadores, when it was, by the Bañuelos family, it was a good product. And then, now that Bacardi owns it, it's garbage. But why do they do it? They're pushing it out and people buy it. You know what I'm saying? And what they use, a diffuser, I think it's like a big industrial machine, that hot steams it, or I forget the whole process. You know what I'm saying? I don't really look into it that much, because I don't care for products that are in diffusers, even though I have tried some. And all those products are garbage. You know what I'm saying? And I can see why they use it. You know what I'm saying? They're using the additives. See, with those, the differences between somebody that messes up and the big corporations, that they're using the additives to cover up, you know, mistakes or all the corners that they have cut. You know what I'm saying? To keep on mass producing, right? That's the problem. You know what I mean? And they're always going to be consistent, right? Like if you look at a product like, you know, there's the Soto. You know what I'm saying? Like I have tried even like their Blancos, right? Like this is an even older one that I found actually. I have tried some of their newer one, different batches, and they're not the same. You know, they change a little bit. You know, because it's done the right way. If you make spaghetti, if you make a soup, it doesn't always taste the same. Maybe one day it comes out a little bit more salty. Maybe one day it comes a little bit more bitter, whatever. But it's not always going to be consistent. But if you go on and try a product from, you know, the diffuser junk, you're going to see that you can go back 10, 15 years and it'll taste the same. Or look the same. So the thing is, you know, how can you tell which tequilas have additives, or how do you know? Well, you got Tequila Matchmaker. You know, you got tequileros like me, right? Reviewers that, you know what I'm saying, that try different tequilas and give their honest opinion, right? It's like, pretty much I'm trying that tequilas out for you guys, right? If I try them out, if I see something wrong with it, you know, I'll say it. You know what I'm saying? I don't get paid. I don't know any distillers, and frankly, I don't give a fuck what they think or what anybody thinks. I give my honest opinion because this is part of my, you know, digital collection, right? So I gotta be honest with myself. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You know what I mean? And I like good tequilas. So, you know, that's just the way I see it. That's some of the ways you can tell, and you know, without having to waste your money trying different tequilas and not knowing. You know what I'm saying? I like to try different tequilas, and if you like doing that, that's good. You know what I mean? But the experience that you get, the more different tequilas you try, you know what I mean? I think it's good to try tequilas with additives and tequilas without, because then you start to know the difference, right? From experience. You know, you start seeing the difference. You know, I used to drink a lot of tequilas with additives, and what I came to notice later is that, you know, there was like the brands like Don Elias, Tequila Additive, Cava de Oro, I think Dinastia. Those products almost taste identical. It's just like a lot of fucking syrup, a lot of caramel, a lot of freaking like maple, a lot of brown sugar. You know what I'm saying? It tastes almost identical, and I was like, man, I wonder if they're all made in the same distillery, which I don't know if they are or not. I don't remember, but you start to kind of like, man, like these things taste the same, you know. And then I tried
Kaga Amigos.
what was it, Dame Mas Tequila, tastes fake. I had tried you know, Clase Azul. It just tastes artificial, you know what I'm saying? I like it though, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I like it. I won't buy it, and if you have it, you buy it, you know what I'm saying, then I'll drink it. I mean, I don't think it's like the most horrible shit I've ever tasted, but it tastes like fake. But I'll still drink it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like if I like it, I like it. You know, just the way it is. So that's just the way I look at it. You know. But some of those tequilas, like I said, they taste a certain way, and that's how you begin to realize. So, anyways, let's go ahead and do this blind taste, right? So here I have these two tequilas. One of them is supposed to have additives, one of them doesn't. And then once I, you know, take a guess, or I'm just joking, to see what it is, then I'll have my kiddo bring up the tequilas that it is, right? So let's start off with the first one. Let's call this A. We'll call this B. So be patient. All right. Let's go back to number A. Letter A. So on both of these tequilas, I mean, you're still gonna have, you know, the viscosity. You're still gonna have it sticking onto the glass and everything, you know. Okay, so A. I'm getting a lot of like banana pudding. There's vanilla, caramel. Vanilla, caramel, banana pudding. And it smells really, really sweet. And then we jump on to B. The fuck? That's weird, you know. When I put my nose on this one, it's like I feel like the when I'm breathing in, it feels thick. You know what I mean? And this one's like, so it's like caramel, vanilla, some butterscotch. Some light sweet oak. And I'm also getting a little bit of citrus, you know. So I picked up more aromas on this one. And it's like, when you smell them, it does feel thicker on the nose on this one. Like, I don't know, like if the air was heavy or something. And this is like, it's a lot more clear. You know, I just feel like, you know, just like I said, you know, the citrus, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of caramel, you get a little bit of agave, a little bit of sweetness coming from the oak. I like it. So let's go ahead and try this one first. Whoa. That is really, really sweet. It was really sweet. Let's see, what did I get? And it was really, really smooth as well, too. So no burn, just sweet. A lot of caramel, a lot of vanilla, and then I do get some of that vanilla. You know, just the way it smells, the way it tastes. Okay. And as for this one right here. It's also smooth, but there is this, like a very light heat. There's light heat, but I do get that citrus, a little bit of cinnamon. I pick up those oak flavors, a little bit of caramel, some butterscotch, maybe a little bit of nuts. I would say this one's really good. So I'm gonna say this is the one that's additive free, and this is the one that contains additives. So go ahead and bring the bottles over here. You do remember which one was which?
Yeah.
Oh, right on. So here we have Gran Centenario Azul Tequila Reposado. Now this is bottles from Mexico. This was given to me as a gift. It's 35% alcohol by volume. And then this is the Viva Mexico, number 1414. So yeah, Viva Mexico, cabrones. Let me get this out the side for now. I had to have tequila, you know. It wouldn't be a video, a Tequila Forever video, if it wasn't tequila in the video, right? So, let me see, what else can I say? It takes experience sometimes. to be able to tell. But like I said, at least you guys can watch videos. And I think whether, at the end of the day, my personal opinion about this is whether additives are good or bad, meaning is it safe for human consumption or not. I don't think it's okay, and I'll tell you guys why in a minute. Before I do, when it comes to additives and why they're not disclosed on the label, well, it's that 1%, right, of the total volume, I believe, that I was talking about, and that is for each additive, right? 1% for each additive. The reason it won't ever pass the 1% is because the shit nowadays with the technology, the equipment, right, motorized equipment, it's so advanced that you can concentrate anything that you'll never even have to get. Let's say this, for example. Let's just talk about maybe a medicine, right? Maybe some, let's just say ibuprofen, right? Some pills can be a certain size, right? Size of a Skittle, smaller, and have 200 milligrams. And you can have an even smaller one that could be 600 milligrams, right? So it's smaller and it even weighs less, but the concentration level is heavier. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing like, vanilla extract, right? It just, because it's so concentrated, it won't pass that 1% of the total volume because you just need just a little bit to enhance the flavor. I was watching a video a while back, and I was remember, what Guillermo de Sousa, founder of Fortaleza, saying basically let people drink what they want, some of them are going to graduate to better stuff. You're gonna learn. Some people don't care what they drink, but I don't want glycol in my body, is what he said. Guess I would use some whiskey, but it makes you think. I wonder if that's something that's also being used in tequila and we're not being told. So when it comes to it, I mean, if everybody, let me just make one thing clear. Just because a tequila is additive free doesn't mean it's good. Meaning that, it's additive free doesn't mean that's going to be a delicious tequila. It could still be junk. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind as well. And if everybody drink additive free tequila, it'd be a lot harder to get the tequilas that we want. If they're already hard to get now, imagine how much harder it would be if everybody started drinking additive free tequilas. It's like artificial foods, artificial horchata, artificial chemicals and shit. They're never gonna stop using them. It's just part of life. But this is why it's important. Additive free tequilas. Why people care so much. You guys ready? All right. So the reason it's so important is because tequila is a central part of Mexican culture. They use it for celebration, when they're celebrating weddings, quinceañera, Días de los Muertos. It's also served as a toast of honor. It's a symbol of pride for many. For the culture, they use it in poems, songs, visual art. Tequila is a basically it's a Northwest Americana, one of the oldest distilled spirits, and is rooted in the Aztec culture. It's I believe the first interaction of tequila was pulque. Pulque is basically, it's like a milky product, made made of agave, that was sacred to the Aztecs. And I believe it was in 1974 that the Mexican government officially declared tequila as the intellectual property of Mexico, making it protected and you know, an affiliation like a Scotch or like a whiskey or something like that, you know. So that's really why it's so important, you know. It's part of culture, traditional, you know, the traditional methods and everything, you know. And by changing that, taking shortcuts and taking the way it was done, it just throws it all away, you know. That's why I think it's really important. Some people just probably don't want the chemicals, the fake shit, you know. But, you know, we want the real deal. So, what I'm gonna say, is Viva Mexico. Cabrones.